So I was in a dance yesterday with myself, and it was a dance where we were moving from the lungs and through the lungs and letting the lungs express themselves into the hands and inviting or feeling the breath entering deeper places within our lungs. And it was like the subtlest of sensations of kind of seeing in the mind's eye, like those balls that aioli or whatever they call it, maybe that's fish and chip sauce, but whatever they're called, that hold the air, the oxygen as it comes in, like seeing them expand, the ones that haven't expanded before, just receiving that breath and gently opening up and just feeling that life of, oh my God, I haven't breathed into that part of my lungs for so long. And how different it is before, when I used to, breathe to push through emotion and stay strong and hold that shit together. It was very like, warrior attitude towards breath. And realized that warrior attitude took me, close to a decade to cultivate that presence and persistence, just keep slicing through emotion when it comes up. But how much more effortless it can be in surrendering the breath. And a big distinction I've taken in my yoga teaching this morning is asking students not to breathe, not to direct the breath, not even to control the breath, simply to rest the being and the awareness in a part of the lung and just watch how the breath enters it. The breath just follows the awareness with no intention. And then watching from that perspective how the breath is responding to the being. And as an extension, if our breath responds to our being, how does the breath of other people, how does the being of other people, how do other people that come into contact with us respond to our being? I had a yoga class I taught a few years ago, and on my way there I was feeling really, 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 really sad. I was out in nature, literally just wanting to cry but not being able to cry, and connecting with myself and just asking, what do I do? How am I as a yoga teacher meant to function in this space? I want to be alone and I've got a class to teach. And the wisdom that came up was, in a sense, keep processing what's there for you, keep being present with what's alive in your body, Miroslav. And I went into class, and it was a yin class, which meant it was mostly floor postures, very little moving. And as it started, I noticed the sadness sitting on my chest, this weight. I noticed myself not wanting to look at students in the eyes, looking away, like a cloud of shame depressing around my shoulders and my body. And as we went in, I just breathed and I connected and I breathed, and it was like a soft wave washing upon the sadness. At the time, maybe I partially wanted it to be gone, but I was also like, I'm just going to keep breathing and being with this wave. And from my perspective, the room felt very deep. There was a sense of depth in there. And afterwards, a student came up to me, and English wasn't her first language, and she said, "What did you do to me?" I was like, "What do you mean? I didn't do anything. I didn't even touch you. You were in yoga postures the whole time." That was my fault. I didn't really say that. I was like, she hadn't consciously. I was like, she's had an experience where there's something she's got to share here, and she goes, there was one point in the class where I didn't even exist. It was just the breath, just these waves coming and going, like slow motion. She goes, as I breathed out, I didn't know if the next breath would come again. Like time disappeared. I was like, wow, for me that was such a big moment of realizing how deeply and powerfully our being affects the space and the people we're with. And sometimes we get those conscious mirrors of this is what's going on, and other times we don't. It's really subtle. It can be a smile, it can be a breath someone takes, it can be a change in direction. If you have any personal stories to share, I'd love to hear about them. I love collecting these kind of stories because, as I think Daniel Eisman said, they create space between people's thinking. It's that opportunity for a new way of being. Bless you all.